So my initial thoughts on the new Pint S series motor on the Pint X. At first, I was skeptical. How different can it be? And does the old Pint S motor need to be upgraded? Riding it a few times on the trails I typically ride, hills I go up and down on, don't take that out of context, going on my usual routes. This new motor actually improved a lot of aspects of the Pint X. I essentially transformed my board into a Pint S, if that was the intended purpose of making the Pint S to begin with. Now, I heard about the controversy in regards the Pint S motor should have been in the Pint S initially. Okay, I can see the argument in that, and I can also see the argument from FutureMotion's. It might have cost more if we put in the motor onto that. And you know, I'm not a business guy. I'm not going to argue about FutureMotion's ethics and their strategy about what board they sell. My thing is, I want to improve the board I currently have. Is it any different going up a hill, going through the trails, going down the street? There's a huge difference. Actually, it's a big confidence booster. I can go up hills a lot easier than I normally do with the old motor. Back when I had the old software, before the haptic buzz, before the new firmware update, going up hills wasn't as hard. It wasn't difficult. As long as I knew how to ride, treading up the hill, carving up the hill, even going down the hill, I managed to survive. With the latest firmware update, before I got the motor, it increased the overall power of the Pint X, but I've noticed something very disturbing about the motor. It started to crack. It started to make weird noises every time I go up a tiny incline or going up a big hill. It would make these weird crackings and these weird unnerving sounds that lost confidence in me on riding the Pint X. And deep down, I was like, what can I do to fix this? I was wondering if it was the bearings. I was wondering if it was the firmware. I like to think it was the firmware. The firmware really did something to the motor that the motor didn't like, or the motor is struggling to keep up with the new brains of the Pint X. When they released the new motor, the new Pint S series motor, I figured, you know what? I still like the Pint X. I wanted to get the most out of this board. I wanted to get everything I could out of this one board. I believe I managed to get to that point without using any vest technology. All I did was add a motor. It created such a confidence booster. I feel more power in the trails. I feel more power going up the hills. I feel a lot more acceleration. It is a feeling that's hard to describe, but it is a difference between last motor and this motor. Now, I haven't dissected the motor. A lot of people ask me to open up the motor to count all the chords. Now, I'm not going to do that. Let that be for FutureMotion. Let that be for the Float Life to dissect that motor. I'm not going to do that to mine. I'm going to have full confidence that FutureMotion did very well to improve this motor. I feel like this motor is more like an upgrade to the last motor. It feels that I have more power. It feels that I have more confidence. It feels like a brand new board. I'm going to upgrade this board a hell of a lot more. And by the time you see me next time, this board's going to look 10 times different. If anything, it's going to improve my riding experience. I'm very glad that I made this upgrade. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than getting a new Onewheel. Can't speak for if it changes anything for the Pint. I don't own a Pint, just the Pint X. If anything, the Pint X is now the Pint S with this brand new motor. I'm going to have faith that there is some type of improvement. If not, they just reorganize the guts of the motor to make it more efficient with the firmware update. It doesn't give me any more range, but what it does give me, more acceleration, more organized power between me and the board when I ride on trails. Other than that, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if not, can't really do much about it. Everybody, enjoy your day. Any other thoughts that you guys have in mind, please let me know in the comments down below. FutureMotion, thank you very much for the motor, and hopefully everyone has a wonderful holiday, and see you guys in the next video.